But watching Devin push his own limits made me wonder, doesn't pushing limits lead to competition?
Competition's a very touchy subject in parkour.
Parkour is inherently non-competitive. You know, if you're competing, it's not parkour.
The whole saying, go big or go home, that's the antithesis of parkour.
You'll see someone do something really big, and you're like, wow, man, I gotta go do that, and I gotta do it bigger and better than him.
I personally don't think it's a good thing, because then you're doing it for someone else, you're doing it for people to watch you.
We're not here to try to be better than someone, because that always involves injuries, probably death.
How you can to count, the best guys he can to jump high, I think you go to dive.
There have been a few competitions already in other countries, and in my opinion, they failed miserably. The winner, I think, broke his leg or something, and they gave him first place. I mean, how ridiculous is that?
Parkour began with a non-competitive ideal, but is competition inevitable?
Yeah, this is a trophy I got from the Red Bull competition. The competition was held in Vienna, Austria. 13 nations represented, 2,000 spectators. To be honest, I was excited. That's not the word I would describe it. It was just, I was in awe of the whole thing. I was a part of history. I can say, when I get older, to my grandkids, regardless of what happens in free running, I can say I was part of that. I totally believe competition is going to bring out way more people. It's just going to wake people up about this sport, how great it is, how cool it is.
Competition is going to happen. There will always be people that want it. There will always be a media eye for competition.
Competition is going to sprout up everywhere. I mean, that's just the nature of our society. We're a very competitive society.
You can see competitions coming where they set up courses and people are just like, here's the city, have fun.
I see the future of it being a competitive thing, because what people are going to do is they're going to come to you with money, and they're going to talk to you about doing this, that, and that. We're going to pay you, and that's how it's going to work.
This is just the nature of life, you know. Men will die for points, and men will flick through a TV channel, and if there's no way for someone to score or win, men keep flicking.
I come from a background of many different competitive sports, and I learned a lot of great things, and it made me a better person through this competition, and I feel like the same thing can happen with parkour and freerunning. Competition does not have to ruin a sport.
I think you see the passion in the guys that compete at the X Games. Most of them are out there because they just want to have fun, and they want to push the limits, and they want to progress it. You see them cheering each other on. At the end of the day, it's not all about the money. It's not even about the medals. It's about who's pulling the next trick.
Competition will change the way it works, but at the same time, no one's forced to do competition. So there will be people that are well beyond some of the other athletes in the competition, skill-wise, but they'll just not want to enter, and that's fine, that's their fault. And then there will be people that train solely for the competition because of prize money or because they want to be famous.
We can have people within parkour helping guide these competitions down a positive road, or we can all step back and say we don't want any part in this, and then corporate sponsors are going to do it.
I think that there is some level of competition in parkour, but it's just not really recognized as competition because, you know, if you look at YouTube, you see all the videos, everyone's always trying to outbeat each other.
If you were to train by yourself, what pushes you to get better? What pushes you to, instead of coming out and saying, you know what, I don't feel good today, I'm not going to train as hard. Also, you have your teammate, your buddy going 120%, you're like, oh, hell no, I gotta keep up.
If you see one of your friends doing it, then, you know, you're not going to let them do it and you not do it.
Because you know that they don't have anything you don't.
Because once they get the guts to do it, you don't want to be left behind.
Right, we have this game that we play where one person does something and then they have to land that trick, and then we kind of just inspire each other to try the tricks.
Yeah, you don't want to lose, so you just do it.
We started out with front flips, and then we started trying to add twists and tweaks and tucks and stuff, and we really changed it. We adapted to side flips and a front flip 180s, and we just went from there.
Yeah, and the thing that got us to do the front flip was Dimitri offered $3 to the first person that did it.
Well, we first saw a video of free run on the internet, and then from there we kind of just did our own thing.
Yeah, and we just
went to our local park and
just went and tried it.
And if it didn't work, then we either try again until we get it or we don't.
But anything you try, unless you like flip or something, you're not going to get screwed up on. I mean, you're going to flip around and hit your feet and maybe fall.
We started with parkour, and we moved to free running. You know, I wish we could label ourselves as parkour because it's a cooler name.
How we all kind of stayed into it and didn't lose it as like just bad is because we were all friends and we all knew each other and we like hung out a lot, so it just kind of was a common interest, so it gave us all something to do every day.
The first time I met Nick, he brought me mountain running.
So we're in the mountains at Salt Lake, and this just so happens to be, and this being the pinpoint, the epicenter of the rattlesnake capital of the United States. So could be interesting. Who knows? Maybe you're in for a treat. All right, here we go. It's pretty much intense mountain running, jumping. Speed-wise, bomb down as fast as I can go, of course, without falling on my head. I don't care about falling or anything else. That's fine. I think it's a good way to train for flow because it keeps you going regardless. You're going to have to keep going. You can't stop. You just got to find your footing right then and there. Think quick. I think that's one of the best things about PK is that improv. I think this pretty much sums up how the PK philosophy is. I mean, it's not anything about luck. It's about how good you are, how much you practice, how much you put into it. It's nothing to do with luck.
When Nick ran down the mountain, he did exactly that. He had no set moves, just start and end points. Tracers call this concept a run, but most weren't doing runs. They were just practicing trick after trick. It almost seemed as if Tracers were always training for parkour, but rarely actually doing it.
What is flow? Well, it's not what I have. It's linking your movements together as if they were one big movement, as if there was no effort at all.
Flow to me is your ability to move around one area. It doesn't have to be efficient, and you're able to move from one to the other without knowing what's coming, but you're still able to adapt really quickly.
For me, it becomes real parkour when you go out without the intention of doing any specific move. You just go, and if there's an obstacle that happens to be in your way, you go over it in some way that's one of these things you've trained for.
Flow in parkour is about thoughtless and reactive movement. It's about being able to just go through the environment and not think about exactly what you're going to do. In parkour, you have to learn the moves, and then you have to learn to put these moves together. And then you have to forget all about that and just move through the environment. I think flow is something that every athlete strives for in their sport.
When you do a run and you don't think about it at all, and you don't plan out any movement, and you just do one thing after another, and it just comes to you completely naturally, it's euphoric. It feels amazing, you know? you step back from what you've just done and maybe you don't even know what you did.
Is flow cool? How dare you ask such a question? Flow is amazing. Flow is the best feeling in the world. What I have tasted of flow, I'm definitely still around, so I'm definitely after it still.
To me, flow is the apex of control of the body, where adaptability, ingenuity, and spontaneity in one's motion culminate into reactive movement. But not all traceurs shared my enthusiasm towards flow. Can you just explain flow?
Cliff, I have to explain flow.
Flow. People were looking to make this, to do stuff to reach this word flow. Like the word flow is the holy grail of parkour. And it was just so stupid. It became something that people just, how do I achieve flow? Like it was nirvana.
I don't know. I mean, hold on. Do you want me to get into like urban free flow, like making a mockery of parkour and all that stuff? I mean that's what it stems from, because urban free flow touted the word flow, and that was their term, and they kind of commercialized it, so everyone was saying, you know, it's not about that, and it was kind of friction between that website and other websites. I mean, flow is great, you know. It's great to move from one thing to another. It's great to be like water, be fluid. Okay, here's what it breaks down to. The word flow is associated with looking good, you know. So it's not about going through your environment to look good. It's about going through your environment efficiently and quickly. And so, you know, you can't help but end up looking good doing that if you're, you know, really experienced.
Regardless of not liking the term flow, I still hadn't seen much of it, especially compared to many other sports. So I built a helmet camera and asked some friends to show me what they thought flow looked like in their sports.
Hollywood time. We need to strive, survive, and be wise. Understand yourself through others' eyes. We are skin and bone. Our complexion lacks the tone. The condition everybody. Illusion to stand and nothing. All users need to know they must eat and grow. Woman putting themselves to be thin. Knowledge of nutrition helps you win.
As I watched, I realized that in the so-called extreme sports, flow means successfully overcoming obstacles while moving through an environment. The athletes in these sports operate a vehicle as a medium for their movement, whereas in parkour, the human body is the vehicle. Perhaps calling these sports extreme gives the wrong impression, but environmental obstacle overcoming sports doesn't exactly roll off the tongue. Maybe a better term would be adventure sports, navigation sports, or even flow sports. I try to achieve flow in all the sports I play, but especially in my favorite sport, downhill skiing. When skiing, everything around you becomes a playground, and your only limits are where there is snow and your proficiency in navigating the obstacles in it. Facing moguls, chutes, cliffs, rocks, and trees, my goal is to overcome any hurdles as they arise and be confident that my skills will get me through. An important part of flow for me is the ability to respond to unpredictable conditions and recover from mistakes at a moment's notice. Of course, pursuing flow at the edge of your limits sometimes means not achieving it.